Hello, this is Mrs. Anderson, and I've created this video for you today in order for you to have a better understanding of my expectations for your essay titles. So this video will demonstrate and explain to you what the Modern Language Association expects of essay titles, and will give you some practice and some samples so that you can write your titles for your upcoming essay. While you are first watching this video on Edpuzzle, feel free to view it again on my YouTube channel, Anderson SF Lancer, and remember that you can hit pause, rewind, and replay things as many times as necessary. Now you may wonder why I have a picture of this lovely lady, Emily Dickinson, in the middle of a video on essay titles. Well, there is a connection here. When Emily Dickinson, the American poet, passed away, she never titled a great number of her poems. So when publishers began to publish her work shortly after her death, they made up their own titles. And one of the ways they did this is they took the very first line of her poem and made it the Insta title. So if you ever came across the poem "Hope is a Thing with Feathers," that is the title of the poem, but also the first line. So I have a little soft spot in my heart for Emily Dickinson, and I always feel very frustrated that she didn't get a chance to title her own work. So I'm asking you to come up with titles for your essay so you don't end up like poor Emily Dickinson. The other reason I'm asking you to come up with MLA essay titles is because if I don't, what tends to happen is I get some really boring titles. So this is a typical example, East of Eden character analysis. And I say to this title, yes, I know that you read East of Eden. After all, I helped pick the summer reading book. And yes, I know that you're doing a character analysis because after all, I created the assignment. So I'm looking for something a little better. I want some depth and I want some substance so that I have a better idea of what your essay is going to be about before I read your essay. I don't want to know the kind of essay, but I want some insight into the argument that you're going to present or the topic that you're going to show me. So what I have for you here are 3 really good essay titles. And I'm asking you, what do these good essay titles have in common? Maybe you haven't read The Great Gatsby, or you haven't read To Kill a Mockingbird, or you're not familiar with 14th century English courtly poetry, and I wouldn't expect you to be. And that's okay, because what I'm asking you to take a close look at are the titles. Take some time. Do you notice anything about the structure, or the punctuation that's used, or the formatting? So I'm going to let you think on that, and I'm going to give you some wait time while you think of possible answers. So now that you've had a chance to think, my hope is that you've noticed one of the following key things. There were a number, but if you notice one of the things on this list, then you're kind of moving in the right direction. Notice that all of them were 2-part titles. Well, why are they 2 parts? Because they were separated by a colon. So the colon indicates that there's something coming before and something coming after. So what's coming before? It's what I call the catchy part. There's some kind of attention grabber. The use of alliteration or a cliche or a song title or a pun, all things that normally would be prohibited in a formal analytical essay, but are completely allowed in the essay title. And then after the colon is what I call the substance part. That's where you tell me what your topic is and tell me the title of the work that you're writing about. Now, if you prefer instead to use the author, you can certainly focus on the author of the work. So let's look at that example again. Nature versus nurture, parenting in To Kill a Mockingbird. So what makes that title so great? Well, first of all, it's not overly long or confusing. How do you know if your essay title is too long or confusing? If you have to go to the second line, if it can't fit on one line of your essay, and you're going to the second line and word wrap is working and then bringing your essay down to that second line, it's too long. You've already lost me. Now, the other thing that I like about this is, as I indicated, it tells me what the topic is. I haven't started the essay yet, but I know that it's going to be about parenting, and I know that it's going to be about To Kill a Mockingbird because it has the title there. The other thing that I like about this is it capitalized all the major important words, so it followed the rules for capitalization. So what's the rules for capitalization? Well, first you have to capitalize all the major words in the title of the work that you're focusing on. So that includes the first word and the last word has to be capitalized. And then for the words in between, you have to ask yourself, is it an article or is it a preposition? Articles and prepositions are, as a rule, not capitalized unless they are beginning the title or in the case of a preposition that is longer than 3 letters long. Okay, so that's why A is lowercase here because it's an article, but kill would be capitalized. Okay, as for the rest of the title, the same rules kind of apply. You have to capitalize the first word in the essay title. We're also going to have to capitalize the first word that follows the colon. Verses is a word that's going to be capitalized because it's longer than 3 lines and it's something that's going to be considered major. In is a preposition, so that's going to be lowercase. The other thing that people tend to do with their essay titles is they like to put things in bold or fancy script or underline things for emphasis, and as a rule, you don't do that. The only thing you italicize is the title of the work that you're focusing on in the essay. Okay, so keep those things in mind. So now I'm going to ask you to give this a try yourself. I have provided you with the substance part, meaning I've told you the topic of the essays and the work of literature that the person has written about. And I'd like you to create a catchy part for one of the examples that I provided. So you can decide what the catchy part is for the Great Gatsby essay, the Catcher in the Rye essay, or To Kill a Mockingbird. Now again, it doesn't matter if you've actually read these books. You are familiar with what the topic is that this person is discussing, so try to find something catchy that relates to that topic. So I'm going to give you another shot at practice, and this time I'm giving you the catchy part, and you try to come up with the substance. So I've given you Love Stinks, which is a song title, and you may or may not be familiar with the song, and then the cliche, what goes around comes around. So what I'd like you to do is to tell me what topic do you think the potential essay is about, and what work of literature do you think this person is exploring in this essay. So you can use any book, poem, or play as long as you format that work of literature correctly, remembering that books and plays are italicized and poems should be in quotation marks. So have some fun with this, and I look forward to reading your next essay titles.